This episode of The Michael Rollins Show is brought to you by John Jordan's Dad Rides. Remember, if the kids need to be picked up, you can call Dad Rides. It is not clear how much that is going to cost you. In today's episode, we talk to the one and the only Ole Gravy Leg, aka Matt Williamson. Gravy, as he is well known, has a pretty interesting intro into this hobby. He's now full-time in the drone industry. But like many of us, he kind of fell into all this sideways. There were motorcycles, there were RC cars, there were helis, there's just a lot of stuff. But if you would like to hear about how Ole Gravy Leg got his name and also got into the hobby, check it out here. Oh, by the way, I'd like to mention my Patreon. If you would love these interviews in a podcast form, go sign up for my Patreon. The link is in the description below. I would appreciate it if you do. I really value my patrons. Anyways, let's get on with it. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you a man that probably doesn't need introduction to quite a few of you and is one of the most genuine people in FPV. He is Matt Williamson, aka Ole Gravy Leg. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me. We've been talking about this for a bit.
I know. So, tell me, do you like gravy?
I do, but I'm very, very specific about gravy.
So, is it turkey neck gravy, or what kind of gravy is it?
It's the funny thing is that there's nothing better than, I think it's Heinz that makes the turkey style, Thanksgiving, just thick gravy.
Yeah.
And that's just the best. I'll wind up sitting and using all of it. And that's not why I got my name.
So how did you really in fact get your name?
So back in the day, a show called Opie and Anthony that was a radio show, and then it turned into going to Sirius and XM. Jimmy Norton made a joke about here comes old Uncle Gravy Leg or something, and I kept having these horrible Xbox Live names that would get banned.
Yeah.
And I had just listened to that episode, so I'm like, well, screw it. I'll just put Ole Gravy Leg in there, and it stuck. I made that, and damn, that had to have been 16 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because most people don't think that's the reason why somebody else coined the term for me or something like that. I might, have a bowel issue or something, but that's totally not the case.
Well, they call me Ole Gravy Leg because I got irritable bowel syndrome, and unfortunately, I get the craps everywhere I go. So,
yeah,
that's not the case.
No, definitely not the case. I'm not walking around with one leg of shit.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh, it's funny because so many people think that too. They're like, "Oh, Old Gravy Leg, that name's hilarious." I'm like, "Oh, well, thanks.
I mean,
I stole it."
And I mean, here's the thing, right? Everybody, or just about everybody, says, comes up with some handle for themselves and then adds FPV to the end. And you're just Old Gravy Leg, OLG.
Yep.
Right? And I think if there's a few others, is it Bach Grinder FPV or is it just Bach Grinder?
No, it depends on where you go. I think it's Bach Grinder FPV. I'm pretty sure for YouTube. And then there was, or at least it was at one point, Mr. Steel FPV, and I talked to Justin Skinner. He did it. It will be fun FPV. And Justin is interesting. Justin said that he kind of I don't know if you know who he is, but he runs with, is it the Dallas crew down with Vanover, and he's actually part of Vanover's actual support team now. Really good pilot all on his own, but he is a social media monster. And yeah, we were interviewing. He was like, yeah, I think I might kind of be responsible for that. Because he saw Mr. Steele do it, and then he did it, and then after that, it just blew up. So that was a long time ago, though. It's funny because a lot of people are dropping that now because our hobby is created people that are content creators, and now they're like, well, my channel isn't just that. Even this morning I filmed I couldn't sleep last night. I've been up for like 36 some odd hours right now at this point. And I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, well, damn, it's 5 o'clock. I might as well just go shoot in Boston. I mean, instead of just sitting here being a lump, so I made a vlog about that. I charged up my GoPro and I time-lapsed all the way into town and all that. And it's like, man, it got me thinking, like, I'm waiting for the sun to come up. And I'm like, man, what am I doing? Like, this isn't drone stuff. Maybe people are onto something.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I think what's interesting is I hear this story a lot. You may have the same story. I started flying FPV. I got interested in cameras, and then all of a sudden I was creating content. And it is, I can't tell. I mean, Wild Willie, Justin Skinner. Justin Skinner kind of got into it through Nito Frames, Mr. Steele. So many folks started out flying and record, and their interest in recording was originally via a GoPro, and then all of a sudden it turned into, hey, I'd like to vlog, or I'd like to do this, or there's only a few folks that actually came to this hobby with, or that I've talked to, that came to this hobby with true camera skills first. So
yeah, I didn't know anything about cameras, and the only reason that I even started vlogging was because I was joking around with Bach Grinder one day, and he's like, bruh, you gotta vlog. I'm challenging you. You gotta make a vlog. I'm like, it's a blizzard outside. He goes, yeah, it doesn't matter. Go outside, make one today. You got nothing better to do. So I vlogged me like walking in 2 feet of snow down to the store to get like supplies, and then I got a ride home on a quad from the girl that worked at the store, and I said, oh man, I gotta go out and fly in this. So I flew like around my yard twice and then landed because it was just, it's a blizzard.
You couldn't see anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything. It's like the worst video ever.
Yeah.
But worst like goggle video ever. A lot of people seem to like it. They were psyched on it. So, and it just stuck.
I mean, it's like with anything, right? Like the first one almost always sucks. I mean, the first time you do anything, you're terrible at it. The first time you fly, the first time you get in front of a camera, the first time you public speak, there's, I mean, and some people, some people are just better at it initially than others. Like there's a level of talent, right? But once you get to the top tiers, that talent doesn't matter as much. But like, that's one of the reasons I like keeping up a lot of old content on my channel, is like, you can go back and see how I used to do like inspirational talking head vloggy things. And then one day just completely transitioned over to interviews. So
it takes a certain kind of person to do, not saying that, I mean, anybody should vlog or try stuff like that, but it definitely takes a certain person to like be comfortable doing it. Yes. I mean, you definitely fall into it. Like you've done some vlogs, like you've definitely put yourself on the spot, I guess, in front of the camera. Yeah. And I mean, I've watched all your stuff, and it's like you can definitely see the progression of comfort. Yeah. And it takes a bit. Like
dude, the first time, like, well, and so I don't want to call it an extensive public speaking background, but I have a public speaking background, right? And when you sit yourself in front of the camera, it's weird. It's really weird because, I'm a musician. I play music. I've led, worship. I've done all this stuff. I've given public speaking to crowds of 1,500 people or more. And the first time I sat down in front of a camera and just talked at it, it was like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, just blank.
It's just, I mean, literally, you're staring at this thing right here. This little black eye. And it's a weird experience.
Yeah. It's even like, I mean, I've gone up to, I went from vlogging with, like, my first vlog was on like a knockoff, what was it? An iSaw, like a $25 4K, camera. Yep. And now it's, I got, multiple GoPros for like my my quads and stuff. I have backup stuff in case I crash, which obviously is going to happen. And then walking around with a Canon 60D with a Takino 11-16 on it, with a huge Rode mic. And I'm just walking around walking in the stores and stuff. Like it's like I don't even I'm not even doing this. Like these people aren't even there. I mean, the transition is just so weird. But the first time, like even now, I'll go through like a 64 gig card for one vlog, and it will take me an hour to sift through all the crap where I screwed up, I'm just like cursing and just pissed. Like, why would I say that? Like, why would I say it if I'm not going to put it in the video? Or I completely forget what I thought I was going to say, or something stupid happens. It's nuts. I guess I'm real picky, which doesn't show because a lot of my content that makes it through is still, I guess it's in there for the comedy purpose of it. It's meant to entertain, so there's no better entertainment than laughing, especially if you're laughing at me.
Dude, I'll be honest though, comedy is the hardest. Like, it is hard to be consistently funny. And like, not a lot of people get that. I mean, these folks that go do SNL and all that stuff that are like professionals, or that do stand up, and I mean, being funny is really difficult because like you can you can pull someone's heartstrings relatively easily. You can catch their interest with an interesting topic or dive into some kind of historical fact or something, right? But like, everybody's sense of humor is a little bit different. And to be able to capture people's like a laugh that's an accomplishment in my book. So I think you do well. I enjoy your grumbles and just all the stuff that you do. I like it.
Well, good, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like, and that's like what you said, that it's tough because like you said, like you can easily just say something horrific and people are going to feel bad, but people go into this expecting something like you're always going to be on. And you're not always on. Like, I mean, I can only imagine like a stand-up comedian doing this all the time, and they get seen like in line getting a coffee or something, and somebody's like, "Hey, tell a joke." It's like come on, I just woke up. I just want a coffee.
Right.
And that's like the same thing as sometimes like you're gonna have. I guess, well, shit, I hope people aren't going to do it with this. They're not going to think, oh, it's Ole Gravy, like he's going to be hammered and just like firing off grumbles and jokes and stuff. But it's like, I mean,
I think that your sob story that you can tell people when they ask you how you got your name is that you have a wooden leg.
Filled with gravy. Just in case like a Thanksgiving dinner like, breaks out like in the corner.
Emergency gravy supply.
Oh, like, why do they call you that name? Oh, because my whole left leg is made of cans of Heinz turkey gravy. And I just walk around and give it out. I'm like Santa Claus, but for a dried turkey.
Or you could say that you worked in the factory and you got caught in one of the machines. I'm sorry. This is probably so wrong.
Oh, it's funny because, I mean, it does. It's funny because we're going back to like what we were talking about with my name, so it fits. Jeez. Oh man.
Sorry.
Let's laugh, and I can already tell. That's great.
Let's get serious for a minute. How the heck did you get into FPV, man? How'd you start flying?
Oh man. So a buddy of mine, he was trying to get clean. And he reached out to me. I hadn't talked to him in years. I actually used to stunt ride motorcycles with him. And then I didn't hear from him. We used to like party really hard back in the day. And I didn't hear from him. Like we'd like, you know, like a post or, you know, make a comment on a post or something for, you know, a good amount of time. And one day he reached out to me and he was like, hey, you know, I know you used to like fly RC planes and RC trucks, or well, I didn't fly RC trucks, but he's like, I know you used to be in RC stuff. He's like, we should hang out. I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. Right around the same time, my stepson Caleb had just got a Hubsan thing and like a little tiny whoop thing.
The little black Hubsans that are like that big. That was my first drone, man.
Yep. Oh man. So I wound up getting one of those, and then me and Hillary's brother split a flight test versacopter with like the whole like power pack and all that stuff, and I built it, and then so it was like two different things that kind of got me into it, because I got that and I'm like, holy crap, I'm right back where I was. I'm right back where I left off when I stopped flying like model planes. And you know, my buddy told me, it's like, you help me stay clean. He's like, I'll fund everything, I'll buy whatever the hell you want.
Wow.
So I remember I rode down. He lived about an hour away, and I used to take my Harley down there because I used to commute on a bagger.
Yeah.
And I just had my backrest, and I had 2 bags, and he's like, all right, well, ride the bike up to the garage, I'll fill you up with parts. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, I'll just start filling stuff up. You can go home and build, and you can get good. And he was way better than me at the time. He had been flying. Yeah. And that's like going out flying, doing a flip and a roll here and there.
Right.
That was way better than I couldn't fly FPV. That was nuts. And it just stuck. And then I started flying 3D helis again. And I got one. I don't know if you can see. I got one hanging on the wall over there. I got a little 450. But it just stuck with these. And then from there, I met Charlie from Alien Whoop, actually flying simulators, trying to learn how to get into FPV and how to figure because it's completely different than flying a fixed wing plane or driving a truck, obviously. Yeah. And I started getting good, and everybody gave me shit about flying. I was flying like 80 degrees up tilt with a tiny whoop because I just wanted to go fast, and the tiny whoop wasn't fast enough for me. Yeah. So the first time I met Charlie was at the 2017 multi-GP regional qualifier. It happened to be like a town over from me. Yeah. And he showed up, and he's like, man, it's awesome to finally meet you. I want to give you something. And he opened up like this little box that he 3D printed with the Alien logo on the top.
That's awesome.
He's like, check this out. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. What the hell is the camera pointed up so high? He's like, I made it for you. It's 80 degrees. So he hot glued the thing just pointing straight up. And that was my first my first FPV experience was flying that. It was a lot faster in person than it was in the simulator.
Right? Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
And then from there, geez, like I just started getting active in more communities than just the Tiny Whoop community. And I think like one of the bigger things that like really helped me meet a lot of people was meeting Bot when he was on the come up. Like people already knew him. People didn't really know me that much. I was just Matt. And I made a post one day in Rotoride. I'm like, why the hell does everybody just use like EDM and stuff like that? Like, I like it, but I want to hear something different. Like, where's the metal and all this stuff? And he's like, bruh, check your messages. And he hit me up immediately, sent me a friend's request. And he's like, I've been waiting to say that. Like, we need to make this page. And we want to make it Rotor Punks that it's now hardcore FPV. We're revitalizing it. It's all downhill from there.
So way back before I started, the first really content that I started making was, I called it the hype train. And I don't know if you ever saw it or but one of the,
is that criticizing the motors?
Huh? No, this was before this was before the motors came out. This was like late 2016, early 2017.
Wait, no, I did see that. That's right. I know the one you're talking about. And the so one with the trampoline and everything.
Yes, they'd be a minute long, and the whole goal of it was I was going to shoot it and edit it on my iPhone, and it had to be funny. And so I did like maybe 10 or 12 of them, and like to this day I still get people saying, please bring the hype train back, like please. But one of the ones I did was talking about exactly that. Like, listen, you guys, all you do is listen to EDM. You put it in your flight videos. There's always that same girl going, hey, and then, you're flying around. I was like, so let's get some real music in there. And then I threw in really quick, I couldn't even fly at the time, but it was me punching out from the ground, like into orbit with Florida Georgia Line in the background.
That's awesome.
It's like, where are the real country stars in FPV? So, yep.
I actually, like, I try to use a really diverse, like what I listen to is really diverse. Like, I listen to anything pretty much. Mm-hmm. Like, there's two things I do want to do. I'm sure that I can find like a decent, like, country song, whether even like a new age or maybe an old one. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But like, I mean, I'm sure I could find one that's going to fit like my flying, or just like know that I'm going to use that song and like make a decent video out of it, just as a challenge. And I want to do one that is just somebody playing the piano. Okay, like that's another thing that I definitely just like. I guess testing myself, but I mean,
so I will challenge you right now.
Jesus.
And here are your two songs. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the country song has to be Garth Brooks' The Thunder Rolls.
Okay.
Have you heard that? I'm sure you've heard that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think you could get a nice flow going to that one. And the piano piece needs to be Bullet for My Valentine. It's on their... Hold on. I'm going to look it up right now.
Yep.
It's from their latest album. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. And it's on the extended edition of the album. Mm-hmm. Hold on. I've got it right here. Maybe, unless I took it out. It's from the...
As long as it's not copyright.
Well, okay. Well, it is copywritten. It's the very...
It doesn't matter.
They did a piano version of The Very Last Time.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's amazing. Like, my son plays piano, and I sent it to him. I was like, "Can you play this?" And he was like, "No, Dad." But yeah, so you should definitely. It's from the Gravity album. You should definitely
shoot me a message with those two. Shoot me a message with that. No, I'm not going to try. I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it. All right, good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If I do those two, then you have to make 2 hype train videos, 2 new ones.
All right.
Not even backlog stuff that you didn't edit. You have to create.
There's no backlog, so it'll have to be brand new. And look,
when I use all the footage.
I mean, so my approach to content is like, I don't typically, with flight footage, I have backlogs if I need to. But like with the stuff that I shoot here, or with what I shoot with my phone, like I typically use it. I'm like, there's no, I don't know. It, like, hearing you fill up a 64 gig card on one vlog, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So yes, but I
don't plan anything. That's why.
Yeah. Well, I don't plan anything either, typically. But it's just, but I typically, like, I'm not averse to putting out something that is just okay. I'd rather get it out being semi-okay than get it out being perfect. And that's actually like the whole point of my last flight edit. It was just gnarly and nasty, and it was fun.
ESC fire, right?
Yeah. I had my. Oh, hold on, wait. I had to throw all the components out.
Oh,
so this is
a total waste.
Huh?
It was totally done.
No. So the ESC and the flight controller both went up. I think the VTX and the receiver should still be good, and it didn't really touch the camera. The fire was hot enough that it desoldered all the motor wires, which I was like, damn, because I popped everything today, and I was expecting to pull I was like, okay, I had my soldering iron fired up, and I popped all the wires off from the flight controller, and then I got the flight controller off, and realized that all the the motor wires were already loose. So I was like, okay, well, that's cool. And then I start trying to pull the ESC off the main screws, and realize that all, like, I've got the 4 long screws. I don't think I have one. The 4 long screws, and then all the plastic and rubber and everything to soft mount everything. All of that had melted into the windings, and so pulling that freaking ESC off was just like it's a nightmare. But yeah, I'll send you a picture of it later. It was crispy, but I knew like Rob Garland. Actually, that was one of the ones that my buddy built for me. I just didn't have time. Well, and he's such a good builder. He's just precise, and he puts together good builds. And dude, I build like freaking kebab FPV. Like I mean, blobs of solder everywhere. And but after he built that for me, he liked what he had built for me. So he got like 6 of those ESCs, and he called me like 2 weeks later. He was like, "Dude, these ESCs catch fire constantly." Oh no. He was like, I don't know what's wrong with them. When I bought it, it was a special from Pyroflip, and it was a Pyroflip F4 controller and the ESC, and yeah, dude, I got 6 months out of it, so I was happy. But
it's weird. Like, I hear all these people that have issues. Like, remember when Kiss was like everything? Like, oh, Kiss is like catching fire and stuff like that. It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, I am so hard. The only time I ever popped a Kiss ESC was I was trying to turtle mode in a patch of vines, and I didn't realize I was in there. So when I crashed, I was upside down, and I didn't disarm, and it just wrapped them up. And then I tried the turtle mode going the other way, and it was like, nope.
Yeah.
And I popped 2 ESCs, swapped them out, and I mean at the field, and everything was fine.
Yeah.
And it's people have like the weirdest. Like, everybody has a different case, I guess. And obviously quality control can be blamed for that somebody has a good experience, somebody has a bad experience, but I guess maybe I'm just not as hard on my gear as I think, or maybe it's the gear I fly I just say screw it and I buy like good gear, and that way it's not gonna pop. But I've had one fire, and it was I think my 3rd 5-inch FPV flight, and it was with a Martian 2. I wound up upside down in a tree, and the way I had the battery lead rotated, it was. Like, it wound up sitting right against. No, it wound up sitting right against the top plate, so it was upside down in the tree. And as I was shaking this little birch tree, it was just sawing through the battery cable with the top plate, and then it shorted out. But it shorted out. I climbed probably 20 feet up into a tree, and it was like 15 feet away from me. And I'm like reaching out, trying to grab the thing, and it finally let go, and. I was maybe only like 20 seconds into a pack, so this thing was full.
Yeah.
And it just popped, and it was upside down, so the fire just went up through everything. I still have I don't know where it is, but I still had the frame. It just melted. Like, there was resin dripping all the way down the tree to the ground. Because it was. Lipo fires are hot, man.
Lipo fires are bad.
Goes. Yeah.
I mean, like, in this one. I went and listened. I actually went and listened back. I was like, when did it pop? And, I come over the tree, I turn back around, and I hit the branch. And as soon as I hit the branch, all motor noises just stop. The prop noise stops. And, like, even though I was idling when I came over, as soon as I hit the branch, like, all the prop noise stopped. And then during the fall, one of the props spun back up. But I think that was just from going through the wind falling. So I think it popped when I hit the branch, and I don't know. I'm with you. Like, I've never set anything on fire before. I've definitely shorted things out. I've never set anything on fire, and I think this might have just been a combination of, this is really the first time I've ever pushed. I'm starting to push a lot harder than I used to. And the combination of that with substandard ESCs. I don't even know what the ESC was.
It's probably better that way. So
yeah, I'm not going to name anybody. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. Yeah.
I'll throw one under the bus, and I think this might have been my fault at one point too. Like, I don't conformal coat or anything, and I'll fly all winter. I'll fly in the snow. If something breaks, I'll just fix it. But damn, what was it? I think it was it was beginning of this year. I had a new build, and I went out, and I was having issues with it desyncing. I would give it like left roll input, and I'd let off the stick, and it would keep snapping around, and then it would just be like, it would just stop. And I'm like, all right, well, that's weird. So I kept doing it, trying to like replicate to see exactly what the problem was.
Yeah.
I wiggled some wires, see if it, maybe something was like just making a little bit of contact. And then, this is like 5S 2800 kV, like 5-inch, just ripping.
And I'm out 5S 2800 kV.
Yeah, I don't listen. I don't listen to people. I just like I used to really just love going fast and doing freestyle, and if I hit something, it was always just a catastrophe.
Yeah,
and I always laughed when I hit something.
Yeah,
but this thing, like, it kept doing this weird flip, and I'll send you the link. The video's on my channel, and it's just raw audio, so you can hear what it's doing. And I hit the ground after it desyncs, and it or not even desync. I don't know what the hell it did, but it just death rolled. And I disarm it, and it comes back, and then it smacks the ground right as I catch it. And you can just see it sitting on the ground, and all of a sudden one battery goes, and you can hear it start to fade, and then all of a sudden you just hear the next one start going, and I run over, and the battery was just ready to catch fire.
Yeah.
So I grabbed it by the battery lead, put my both feet on the motors, ripped the battery out, and just hucked it across the parking lot. Maybe like 30 feet. And it was nighttime, too, so I could definitely see it was happening.
Yeah.
As soon as it got out of my hand, the thing burst into flames. And
I'm
like,
yep, my God.
All right, well, it's a good thing that happened.
Yeah.
That was bad.
I've never popped a battery. I've puffed a few. Just recently, like I'm down to like 5 batteries. I was just, I haven't flown much. I didn't fly much last year, and just kind of let everything fall into disrepair. So I've got like 5 China Hobby Line 1500 milliamp hour packs left.
The old white ones?
The old white ones, yeah. The old white ones, which I would charge and just leave sitting around forever. And I'm not nice to my batteries. But
I suck at battery maintenance, except at work.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're talking about batteries that are $100, $300 a piece, I mean, that's different. Or even more.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, I've never popped a battery. I was actually, as I was walking towards it, all I could smell was the electrical fire, but I couldn't see it. And so I was terrified that I had popped the battery. Cause I'm still on the GoPro Session 5. This is all I got. And, I was like, man, no, it'll torch my GoPro. That's all I cared about.
It's so funny how that is like the one main thing that like we really care about.
Yeah, did you get the GoPro back?
My GoPro's gone. Yeah, do you have the footage? Did you get the shot?
Yeah. Did you get the footage?
You're like, nah, like my lipo just melted it. Like my battery and my camera are the same. Oh, by the way, I found mine from when we were hanging out the other night.
Yeah,
not broken.
Not broken.
It's perfect shape. Not broken. It took about an hour to find the damn thing when I hucked it, but I totally forgot. And then I went to fly yesterday, and I'm like, I'm missing something. What happened? I looked at my quad that I was going to fly, and it just no GoPro in the mount. I'm like, I remember what I did with this.
The backstory here is that Matt and I were hanging out with a bunch of other folks on a Zoom conference, and we were talking about how I was like, I really don't want to go to the Hero 8 because the 7 was so fragile, and like you'd look at them funny and they'd break. And Matt was like, no, man, these things are solid as a rock. And he picks one up off his desk and he just chucked it right behind himself, and it's like thunk.
Yep.
And I was like, damn, dude. But
everything
then you couldn't find it.
Stopped there for a second. Yeah, because I looked and I'm like, I'm not gonna find. I'll find it tomorrow or something. Yeah. But when I did that, everybody kind of looked to see like, is that thing gonna break?
Yeah, was it, dude? I mean, because you didn't. It was a hard throw.
Oh yeah. See, I have that's another thing is, if people know me, I have a habit of throwing shit through my wall. Mm-hmm. I don't do it anymore now. But there was one time. Oh man, it had to have been a half ago on the UFDA cruise shit show. Mm-hmm. I grabbed I had my BQE 210 frame. Mm-hmm. I had just I I was rebuilding it. I was doing something with it or whatever, but I had the whole frame put together. I had the GoPro mount, all that stuff. And somebody's like, oh, how strong are BQE frames? And I'm like, oh, you want to fucking see? And it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm hammered. I just stand up and just throw the thing like a Frisbee through. Sticks in the wall. The arm goes all the way in. It actually like knocked some of like the paneling on the back. Like you can see the shingles are bowed out where it went through. And I have probably like 8 or 9 little like 6mm by like 16mm slits in the wall from throwing frames through the wall.
Man,
just to prove. I mean, hey, that no. Does it break? No. Look at this, and look at my wall. Well, you can't see it now because stuff's covering it.
Right.
It used to all be a green screen with white marks.
That's funny. I was really disappointed to hear that Ole Gravy Leg did not, in fact, have a wooden leg with a bottle of gravy in it. And to hear that Matt actually really only prefers one type of gravy, which is Heinz. I feel like my childhood hopes and dreams have been crushed. In the next episode, we talk about being a dad and what it's like to have a full-time job, work in the drone industry, a massive commute, fly FPV, do all the things that he does, and also have a boatload of children. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. I'll talk to you soon. Actually, once again, this is a little unusual. I have been looking for 3-ball FPV. Apparently this guy is really hard to get a hold of. I've seen one of his videos. It is pretty spectacular. Maybe one of the best pilots I've ever seen. So if any of y'all know 3-ball and can put him in touch with me, that'd be great. I think he'd be an awesome guest on the show. At any rate, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.